You know what? I feel every journalist is an activist.
How?
If you're not an activist, you wouldn't be a journalist. Of course, I would not go back to journalism, but my principal, whenever I used to come and stand in the lobby, she used to think, oh my God, we're going to shut the college today. I never knew that there existed a career in journalism. Then I'm sure then why shouldn't Congress be upset about national media when the national media journalists are only upset about the situation that they are in today. Especially Indians in America did not want Trump to come back. Speak of Nirbhaya case then, it was speak of Anna Hazare movement then. She single-handedly, stood against United Nations of America, irrespective of whatever threatens and, the sanctions that America tried to impose on India. UPSC came into my life. I was the only South Indian journalist to speak to Donald Trump when he was here in India. There was a group of journalists that I had a network. So what about those people जिनके नाम पे आपने सिंदूर लगा के ऑपरेशन सिंदूर किया? That day, I categorically watched all the news channels, on a big screen, keeping them in small screens. We decide as a journalist to not report to any of the social media posts. In social media, there is a journalist from every house. Then when I went to Delhi, oh my God, the way reporting that happened in Bangalore changed, I think, almost 10-15 years ago. When I reported, my first elections was Gujarat elections. And the whole media started telling that no, this time it's an election without Modi. There was no woman correspondent from the state in the media itself. Anchoring was, private anchoring or computing was not my career. Journalism in Delhi is always off-the-record journalism. It's never the bite journalism that we see in Karnataka. Trade from India and you take back Operation Sindoor. Trump is mazak uda rahe, Trump on India and on Indian Prime Minister. There were a few national media channels. They expressed their joy. We went into their soil. We campaigned for Trump, telling that ab ki baar Trump sarkar. Who are we to tell that? He saw the interview and he said, a lot of people did not even talk to me for a few days towards parties and journalists who stand center. And there are journalists who are, left-oriented. Many times I was not even invited. And the next day I used to, get the news of whatever the breaking used to happen there. When did this happen? So, I feel a lot of difference from the reporting that we used to do in Delhi and the reporting that we used to do, we do in Bangalore. Of course, my journalism career was short-lived, but you are able to understand the pulse of the people and give a clear and correct picture to the people. So that is what journalism to me is. And today, if any journalist who is, be it a Congress sympathizer or a BJP sympathizer, talks to me very nicely and, tries to give me false hopes about something that is not real today or not true today, I don't bag it. And it's not media's job to set agenda. It's politicians' job. Let us do our job. If I go back to journalism as a correspondent, I don't think I'll be able to do justice to journalism as how I used to do it then. Because once a journalist can always be a journalist, irrespective of whatever roles he or she plays in their life. But once a politician can never get away from politics.
Coming from a science background, instead of landing in a lab, you landed yourself in a newsroom. How did this journalism career started? What made you to get into journalism?
Irony is, coming from a background from where I come from, I never knew that there existed a career in journalism or career in politics rather. So coming from a very lower middle class Brahmin family, It was always, after your 10th boards, you get into science and then you do engineering or do medicine and land up either in a lab that consists medicine or get into an IT job. So that's how career shaped up for all of us. But since my upbringing, that there was always one constant yearning for me. I always felt that there is something that thoda hatke I should do in my life. But there was always that quench for doing something different, and I think that is how the creative part in me also shaped up. People who follow me on social media, they know that I'm a Carnatic classical singer and a Kathak dancer. So it was, I think that one striking moment was during my 10th standard, before my board exams. So there was a physics teacher, trying to complete the portions, Professor Savita. Way back then, she was teaching us in school. And there came a chapter of astrophysics, and I started asking her a few questions. So it was a couple of questions, then it went a couple ahead and a couple ahead and a couple ahead, and the whole class was listening to that conversation for almost more than 40 minutes, and people were surprised and shocked about what's happening, and maybe class did not take it comfortably. And then, before the class ends, she said, if you're so inquisitive about astrophysics, then take it up as a career rather than, making it a question and answer session in class. Somehow I was taken aback, and I did not understand what she meant. And then later she called me to staff room and she said, see, I understand your the desire to know more about this, but 4 pages of astrophysics in your science book will not make any difference to you in your life. Maybe just think that this is a beginning. If you really want to take this up as a career, if you have so much of passion for physics, then I think you should pursue it as your major subject. So then I was like, okay, so where does it come from? What does it happen? So then she suggested that, after your 12th or PUC, you need to get into BSc and take up physics as major. So that is when I decided, okay, fine, maybe I'll take this up. And of course, I always wanted to give my time for music and dance, which I could not during my childhood days because we were very far away from the city. We were living very close to Electronic City. So there was no, a group of people who used to teach art in a professional way there. So I thought, okay, this is the right time for me, as I can learn physics and also do creative job. But I think destiny had a different plan for me. Time had a different plan for me. So as soon as I got into JN University, the first thing I did was I hit the cultural forum on Freshers Fest, and there was a medley that we did. And after the medley, our team and me, we became a cultural diva in the college. So that took me to student union, and then student organization, and student leader, becoming a student leader, Vidyarthini Pramukh, and then heading to protests. College was like...
You start from Bangalore itself?
Yes. From my college itself. I remember my principal, whenever I used to come and stand in the lobby, she used to think, oh my God, we're going to shut the college today. Because, it was peak of Nirbhaya case then. It was peak of Anna Hazare movement then. Anna Hazare movement had picked up across the country, but not in Bangalore yet. So, we were the college students way back then, comparing this with the freedom movement of India, we all started going in. I mean, we were herds of people, heap of people going behind this movement, going behind people. And as I was also in a structural student organization, the fight was for paper leak in Bangalore University and other universities. And the fight was for bus passes, free bus passes for students. And the fight was for, safety of women in the city. And there were a lot of these things that was happening. I don't know in from 2010 to 2013, when did I give up on physics, and when did I take up student politics? And side by side, I was also comparing for a lot of private and government shows, and so that is when I think I realized that okay, of course there is physics, the love for physics always remains in me, but my life should be in, I mean, I belong somewhere in the public life, but still there, till then I did not know where I land up or where would I be. But that was the first breaking moment after my TCS selections in my campus. So everyone were happy, but I was really confused. I did not know that should I really get into it or should I do something else. So I definitely knew that I have to do something else, but I didn't know what it was. So I had by already then I had almost hosted about 170 to 180 private shows and government shows. So I definitely knew that anchoring was private anchoring or comparing was not my career. I had exhausted my interest and energy in that zone. So then I went on searching, what is it? So it almost took me 6-7 months to end up. Of course, I had applied for Masters in Physics major also, because I did not still leave the tail of physics. I had applied it, but then I think UPSC came into my life. Okay. So that is when all the doors opened for whatever I am today.
UPSC, you mean to say like you prepared for UPSC?
Yes, definitely yes. See, there came a situation where with my student life and student union activities, I was always present in the media and giving TV bites, maybe because of the language or because of my vocalness that I had in my college days. And there was a movement where media also gave a lot of importance to those student leaders then who came, the youth who came and who were trying to voice against the existing government then in state and center and other things. So, and there was a group of journalists that I had created a network of, and a lot of news editors for my friend, and a lot of political editors in different media houses became my friends, and a lot of anchors, chief anchors were in the, were in my network. So I definitely knew that by then I understood that there is a career, something that in newsroom, not in journalism again, because I never knew what reporting was. Rather, I had any clue about any local politicians as such, except for the major names that we had. So there was an offer. I remember as soon as I finished my exams and the results came, where I was juggling between what to do next. Should I take up TCS or not? One of my friends from then he was with a very popular news network. Even now the news network exists. So he was a primetime anchor there, and he came and he said, we have an anchor position vacant. So why don't you take it up? Anyways, I know it requires a journalism background, but it's okay. There are a lot of anchors today who have come into media without journalism background, and I think you can handle that position. I was like, do you think I'm going to sit in front of the camera and read news? Never. Don't think about all those things. I'm going to do something else in my life, something big. So he asked me, what is big according to you? I said, I don't know, because I was so friendly with all these people. I felt, okay, fine. So this is also one of the jobs. I never knew the intensity of journalism by then. I never knew what it means holding a pen or a mic in hand. And I think if I would have accepted it then, journalism would have accepted me way back in 2013. But I think, again, as I told you, journalism chose me. So it made me wait for 3 more years. And in 2016, I entered media.
How was it? Which was the first offer you got? How did you get the first offer?
Very interesting. So as I told you, 6-7 months later, I figured out that, I need to be in public life and what it was. So one of my friends suggested that, why don't you try UPSC? Again, no clue about UPSC, how it works, from where it works, and who is going to conduct the exams. No idea about anything. So they were one of the coaching classes in Bangalore, and I attended it for 6-7 months. So in that zone, I realized a lot of students who had pursued it in Delhi were there for as a revision classes. Many people who take the coaching from Delhi, they come back here during their phases of giving third or fourth attempts or whatsoever it is, who don't want to spend their time in Delhi. So they come here, and to keep in touch basically with the syllabus and other things, they take up classes here. So there were 4-5 friends as such who had been in Delhi for 3-4 years, and they suggested me, if you're so serious about UPSC, then this is not your destination. You need to go to Delhi, and that is where you can pursue it. So
You really believe that?
I had to, because I had no other option.
Now, today, in present, do you really believe that?
Not at all, of course.
Because
not.
we do have so many.
Exactly. See, UPSC is all about what is the passion you have for it and how much you can slog for it. And many times I feel it's a donkey's job. And not after you get into the service, but before, at least for the preparations, it's like, because you don't know what comes. You never know from where you have to study what. And you don't have a set syllabus. Anything and everything under the sky is UPSC today, or even way back then. So how much are you going to study? How much are you going to remember? And it is not like it is something, of course, I loved political science. I loved public administration. So there were a lot of things that I did not have to study it overnight and remember or mug up things as such. And I loved Kannada literature. That was one of my options. And I did not had to, struggle for reading that. But of course, I did struggle for world history. Of course, I was like, I felt pathetic for who is going to study this medieval India? What is it all about? So there were these things that really bothered. But yes, way back then I didn't know. All I did was, people used to tell me a few things. I used to connect the dots and start traveling there. And I think that's what I said. It was all time that gave me hints, and I started connecting the dots, joining the dots, and traveling. So once I left before leaving to Delhi, so that is when I gave the first attempt, and I kind of almost cleared it.
Okay.
In the prelims. So, and then I was like, I got confidence that मैं UPSC clear कर लूँगी, and I'll go to Delhi, and there was this fascination for me for Delhi since a long time, because coming from a Jain university, I had a lot of North Indian friends. So I used to always hear them talking about, the culture in Delhi, the culture in North India, how the art is, progressive in North India. And me being a Kathak dancer, so there was always also a relation between, for the Lucknow Gharana, I belong to a Lucknow Gharana and a student of Pandit Birju Maharaj. So there was a connection between Lucknow, Delhi, and my fascination for the North India also. So I thought, okay, fine. I think now it's time for me to explore what will I do sitting in Bangalore. Anyways, comp hearing is something that I have decided that I am not going to do it. And TCS, though, I left it long back. And news rooms, I'm not going to sit in. I'm not going to sit and do news anytime at any cost. So I'm going to Delhi. Then when I went to Delhi, oh my God, I never thought that, I had heard about Delhi, of course. Maybe before that, once for a day or two, in a long North Indian trip where my father had taken all of us. It was a package tour, exactly, that we all went. So I had kind of seen Delhi for a day, or maybe Rashtrapati Bhavan bahar se photo le diya, and Parliament, I think I went into Parliament or not, I'm not too sure about it yet. Oh yeah, I had been into Parliament, yes. So these, and India Gate we saw, and maybe one or two, the snack items we had, and we just left. So there was no idea about Delhi at all. So I said, I've been to Delhi. And first thing, I knew nothing about the language. I was a zero communicator in Hindi.
How did you manage with your friends in Jain? Because
They only English. They only English because there were a lot of people. They were
but
settled here.
when you mix with somebody, you'll try to learn the language.
No, I never learnt in Bangalore because
Okay, mind that I'll not learn Hindi.
No, it's not that way. It's not that way because I'll tell you, I had a few family members who used to. You will have cousins who are elders to you, and they want to hide something from the junior cousins. They try to talk in a language that they don't understand. So it happens at home also. Your parents talk in a language that, if they have another language, if they both know another language. So my cousins used to speak in Hindi. And I always used to feel left apart. Arey, what is this language that they are talking about? And I never knew ABCD of Hindi then. So I thought I'm not going to probably, मुझे ये language नहीं चाहिए, or I'm not going to learn it. So I had, even in my school, I had changed a lot of schools because of, a lot of traveling that my father did within Bangalore itself. But we had moved to south, to extreme south, as I told you, Electronic City and these things. So when I came to my 8th standard, I had friends who used to watch a lot of Hindi movies. So I want it or I don't want it. I also used to watch a lot of Hindi movies, but I could not understand a single word of it. And then I decided it's okay. But for the sake of music, yes, I started learning, the lyrics, the Hindi lyrics. Again, that was, I had been to Moody's that happens in IIT Mumbai. So it's a fest, and we were selected as a music choir in the fest, and there I had sung Tu Hi Re, and the judge later called me. She asked, "Are you a South Indian?" I said, "Yes, of course, I'm a South Indian." She said, "See, you need to really improve on your Hindi diction if at all you want to really pursue your career in music." I was like, okay, but still, it probably till I went to Delhi, it never happened to me. And then I later went to Delhi, and thanks to one of my friends whom I met first in Delhi, he told me that if you want to survive in Delhi, there is no other option but to learn Hindi, because people here don't understand English. People here don't know any South Indian language. If you tell you're from Bangalore, they tell, are you from Telangana? Oh, are you from Andhra? If they tell you're from Kerala, they tell, do you speak Tamil? So this is the basic sense that they have about Southern India. So thanks to Chanakya's series of DD, I used to open the YouTube and try to, of course it was more of a Sanskritized Hindi, but I knew Sanskrit well. So I think that is how I picked up the language. And yeah, coming back to how I cracked my news. So after the second attempt, I realized UPSC is not my cup of tea. I thank a few people who were around me who made me realize that, I can't do UPSC because I can't do donkey's job. And I felt that for the temperament that I have and for the person I am, I cannot fit into executive job. And I was so much in love with Delhi, and I felt there is a lot more to explore in Delhi. And by then I had already started my very serious Kathak journey under Pandit Birju Maharaja and Kalashram. So I wanted to continue in Delhi, but I didn't know how to do it. Of course, there was no bread and butter for me in Delhi, and Delhi, the house rates and house rents exorbitant.
Cost of living is also
very high, very high. If you have to live in central Delhi, especially where this coaching classes exist, that is old Rajendra Nagar and new Rajendra Nagar, these places, 20,000, 15,000, 18,000 is the rent of a single room. It's not even a BHK. So there would be a house of 4 rooms where 50,000, 60,000 is a rent of a house. So you stay 4, you stay 10, you stay 8. They don't bother about it. So this is the rent you have to give them. And then luckily I got a house in New Rajendra Nagar, which was in a very decent locality, in a very good area. That was for 12,500. That was the least that I could have found. And for that, I had almost searched for more than 2.5 months in Delhi. And so that is when I decided. Of course, I don't come from a rich background where I could afford so much. So there was some savings amount that I had kept, and half of it went to the coaching classes, and half of it was with my father, and he used to send me 15,000 a month. And managing the rent and exorbitant electricity bill, I don't have to tell you, because you need AC in summer and you need heater in winter. So without that, you cannot survive. So I used to also get the least electricity bill in Delhi, because most of the times I used to spend either in my friend's place to save the AC in my room or in classes. So that is how, I knew how it would be to survive in Delhi without a job, and how difficult it would have been. And then I decided that I need to do something. So all that I knew was, anchoring and computing or other things, apart from my, science background. So that was not possible, definitely, because Hindi was prominent in Delhi, and by then I did not have this proficiency of talking in Hindi or computing in Hindi. And then I thought maybe public policy and these things, because I had already studied, I had prepared for UPSC, length and breadth. I studied the whole demography of this country. I studied the whole politography of this country. And I loved, the way world history had shaped, and what are our external relations, and how are we with other countries, and all these things. I was so fascinated. I was so much concerned about, okay, this ministry does this. This is what it happens. So this is how Prime Minister acts, and these are our political systems, and this is our international relations. And so I was so fascinated about that, and I decided, okay, fine, I can do public policy. But I think that also did not came my way, because it was again all about networking way back then. So if you want to get into public policy, either you need to have a background of it, or you need to come through an MP lad, PRS legislature. There's a company. So that is the formal channel that you have, where they send you as an interns with MPs, and then you come up with independent public policy as your firm and other things. So then that also did not happen to me. So then I was searching, what am I going to do? I remember one day I was just sitting in front of India Gate. The first day I went to Delhi, I sat in front of India Gate. And, before I decided to leave Delhi, I sat in front of India Gate. And the same old friend who told me that you can't survive in Delhi without Hindi happened to accidentally meet me near India Gate. He was also passing by and maybe going to his residence or somewhere else. So the person told me that, anybody who could see me in that position knew that I was so stressed. I was so in a pathetic situation. I did not know what to do. It was so evident in my face. So he told me, I don't know what it is that you're going through. I'm sure there is something that is happening that you're not able to find an answer to it. If you want to share it with me, it's okay. If not, keep this in your mind that there is a solution for everything, and you will find an answer for it. And the answer for that was 1 week later, in one of the news channels in Karnataka, Janashri. And as I told you, I had created a network of journalists, political editors, and a few channel editors as well during my student political days. So there was one of the correspondents in Delhi was on a leave for a month, and it was peak of Kaveri time.
Okay.
And I was supposed to, they were looking for someone who could report for them from Supreme Court and other, political happenings that was happening in Delhi for just that 1 month. And it was a very costly affair for any news channel. Of course, big media houses does that, but that was also one of the big media houses. But by then, there were a lot of problems that the media house had seen, and it was a second comeback for the media house. So they wanted someone who can do it from Delhi. And of course, my network also helped me, and I gave them a confidence that I'll take up this and I'll do it. And I know all that I asked was maybe if my intention was if I can survive for another 1 or 2 months with the money that I would get, or with the stipend, whatever that they would provide. And of course, I got half of the salary of what the person got it. I think I did a fair job there as an intern. And once I held mic in my hand, I realized, okay, fine. I think this is where something that I think I have to do in my life. And I loved, be showing the media card everywhere, having an access and crossing all the barricades and walking inside anywhere and talk to anyone you want to as a media personality. So then I was like, okay, this is something nice. But I wanted to work in Delhi. Then a month got over, and then I told my editor that I want to work. Continue working. Yeah, this is not possible. If you're so serious about journalism, if you think you want to make your career in media and news, you need to come to Bangalore, take up a formal training here in the channel. I will give you the privilege of coming here and learning things. And in the phase of learning, I don't know what is it we can offer you. Maybe a small, petty expenses stipend or something that probably we can offer you. And as Bangalore is also your hometown, I think this is something that you would manage with. Of course, with a heavy heart, I left Delhi that day. And but I decided that very soon I'll be coming back to this place. And I came here, and I thank Janashri News Network for giving me that opportunity. I had the privilege of working with very, senior journalists like Rudrappa, who was also with Indian Express before, and he was there as an executive editor way back then. And a lot of other prominent journalists way back then. And my editor was Sanat Chiniwar, then who had relaunched Janashri then. So it was not political beat, or it was not film beat. It was everything that I went to. Any program, I used to accompany with senior reporters. Or it so happened that in the fag end of those 4-5 months, I started going to attend events, press meets on my own with the cameraman. And there was a very major interview of Sri Ravi Shankar Guruji that I did. So, of course, that was only the one interview that I did in that whole journey. But yes, it did click. I mean, it was the right thing at the right time, I guess. And then, unfortunately, Janashri had to shut down. And again, the search for job, again the search for what to do, because if Janashri would have continued, I definitely understand that probably I would have been posted in Delhi, because already there were talks that, we can send her to Delhi. But going to another organization and asking for Delhi, of course, initially I was so happy. Then there were few media houses that did not have Delhi correspondents. And I decided, okay, fine, I'll knock the doors of these media houses and I'll tell them that I want to go to Delhi. But definitely it was not very welcoming for me. And again, a circus of 4-5 months. And then TV5 happened. And I did not have hopes with TV5, because it was a news channel and it was a very big organization in Andhra and Telangana. So, and the person who was heading with it was Dinesh Akula, who was a very senior journalist who had worked with Star ABP Now and other national media networks. And he was also one of the, he had also worked as one of the editors for TV9 network. So I know, okay, fine. Anyways, I'm going and giving, and I am not getting this at any cost. Because that was the experience that I had. Many people, I had been to a couple of newspapers which did not have a Delhi correspondent then. So they were like, do you even know how to live in Delhi? Do you know how it would be, to be in Delhi? I said, of course, I've lived there. At least with respect to the area, geography, weather conditions and other things, I know how Delhi works. But it may not be, in journalism corridors or power corridors as such. And so I thought, Delhi is too far for me by then. I don't know what Mr. Dinesh Akula saw in me, or, what was that quality that he identified. He asked me a couple of questions and he saw my interview. So
Interview?
Ravishankar Sri. So that is the only interview I had. And there were a couple of articles. It got published in a very reputed newspaper, but luckily he did not know how to read Kannada, so he did not judge me on my articles. He saw the interview and he said, okay, there is definitely a confidence in you. There is definitely something big that you can do, provided you put in efforts and hard work into this. And I said, yes. He said, yes, you're through. I was like, what? Yeah, come meet the vice chairman. I was like, what? So he was also in town that day. So I met the vice chairman and he took me to HR, and it just happened in like a jiffy. I did not expect. And yes, Delhi happened again.
Okay. From journalism to politics and Congress. Why Congress? Why not other political party?
From journalism to politics. Again, I told you, from 2013 to 2016, that 3 years of gap, journalism chose me. And I think politics also had chosen me much, much before, is what I believe. During my student political days, so happening to have a conversation with a lot of political leaders and being in that political system, a lot of people had already identified me as a potential, candidate for future young generational politics. But I had not seen that in myself. And when I used to work in Delhi, I remember the corridors of all the national parties. I'm just not talking about Congress, all the national parties, because as I had learned Hindi by then, I did not restrict myself to Karnataka Bhavan and Karnataka state politics itself. So I used to go to National Party headquarters. I used to go to BJP state central headquarters. I used to go to Congress headquarters. I used to go to other regional party headquarters too, and talk to a lot of leaders across the country, and try to take their bites and try to fit them into Kannada journalism at a national desk. So a lot of people discussed with me, and of course behind me today, when I meet a lot of my journalism friends in Delhi as politician, they tell that, अरे बहुत बात होती थी आपके ऊपर कि आप एक दिन चुनाव लड़ोगे, आप एक दिन नेता बनोगे. I was like, okay. So I think people had saw that in me, and again, I think I took a lot of time to get into politics. I should have got it way back then. By now, I would have been sitting in front of you as an MLA or an MP.
No, I'm asking, why Congress? Why not other political party?
Why Congress? That's a good question. To be very frank and very open, I came from a student organization that belonged to BJP. So I was a part of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, and everyone knows about it. And after my, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, my master's, that is when I was exposed to the other part of the society. I had my lecturers, I don't tell that they were communists, but the left-oriented ideology, thought process, and all those things. So before getting into journalism, I was exposed to both these ideologies very clearly, and that is why I think I could very clearly choose the center path in my journalism and deliver my journalism very clearly without being biased either left or right, or to any or get affiliated to any political party as such, despite having a background from a student union. And when I decided that, okay, fine, I'm going to get into politics, I think the person who came into my mind was Indira Gandhi. I've always fascinated about her. I've always liked her as a personality. I've always tried to, embody her as an icon, and of course I always shared that feeling for Jayalalitha as well, but there is that extra connection, I don't know, I feel between me and Indira ji. And rather than me choosing Congress, I think Congress chose me. So there was a lot of respect, there was a lot of welcoming hands for me in Congress, and they felt that my requirement is in the party at that given point of time for them. And yes, that is when I walked into politics.
What challenges did you face? A person coming from Karnataka, joining Delhi media, being along with them. Was it difficult for you to gel around?
Oh yes, definitely. Because I feel, joining the national media as such, I'm talking about, I belong to a regional media, staying at Delhi and representing Delhi Bureau. But there are people from national media, from all English and Hindi news channels. And I never faced any, discomfort being with them. But there was definitely a question mark on people when I went to with my regional media colleagues, because I was 23 and a half when I went as a Delhi correspondent, and people wondered, what would this girl come and do? What would this young girl report about, Siddaramaiah, report about Narendra Modi, report about Yediyurappa, report about Devegowda, or any top politicians as such. And they all used to feel that, okay, theek hai, koi ladki aaye hai, and for whatever reason, I always, I think that I have a great fashion sense, and I choose to, dress up in a good and decent manner. So, अरे कोई शौक मनाने के लिए आई है तो फिर ठीक है, तो 2 दिन उसका चाल चलेगी और फिर वापस चले जाएगी. So this is what was in people's mind, and a lot of people did not even talk to me for a few days or a few months rather. So, and there used to be, journalism in Delhi is always off the record journalism. It's never the bite journalism that we see in Karnataka. It's always you sit with a leader like this for hours together. You talk to them. You try to extract a lot of things. And you make a news out of it, not on that day, but you try to connect dots some other day, and that is when you break the news. So that is when you create a network. So, and all those networking sessions and off the record events used to happen over a dinner or over a cocktail party, where a woman going there there was no system of as such, because there was no woman correspondent from the state in the media itself. So they never had that decorum, or there was no environment as such. And of course, many times I've seen politicians feeling a bit embarrassed to talk in front of a female journalist in those parties, and many times I was not even invited. And the next day I used to, get the news of whatever the breaking used to happen there. When did this happen? So I used to, it happened in the, evening party, which I was not invited. But I think, with time I created my space for myself, and there came a time where there wouldn't be any bites, or there wouldn't be any press meets happening without an intimation to me, or without my presence.
What reporting difference do you see when you were reporting, and how do you see the reporting standards of now?
I don't know. I feel, the reporting way back then, of course, it was not too far. I don't have to talk in decades, because my journalism career started in mid 2016. And Definitely, I can, I feel a lot of difference from the reporting that we used to do in Delhi and the reporting that we used to do, we do in Bangalore. I think that is actually the major difference, is what people are now talking about, journalism then and journalism now. Because the way reporting that happened in Bangalore changed, I think, almost 10-15 years ago, and but the old journalism reporting that people were talking about, or the seniors that they mentioned, that still remained in Delhi until at least we and another couple of journalists were present in Delhi. See, today the journalism has become more of a bite journalism. Yeah. Okay. Sir, what is it you have to tell about this? Oh, this is your answer. Okay, sir. So he is told like this. What is it you have to tell about this? Oh, this is your answer. Okay. Sir, you are from the third party. Okay. So both of them have said this. So what is this you have to tell about this? Oh, this is what you're... And the day ends. So the next day begins. Okay. Yesterday he told something like this. So what is your reaction to this? What is your reaction to this? What is your reaction to this? Arey, is this what the journalism is? Is this what you're talking about? Have people actually forgotten about, despite me being in politics today, I expect the journalists to question about what is happening in the state, to question about what is happening in the government, to question about the governance, to question about where the money is coming from, where the money is going, what is it we have to get from the center, what is it we need to do from the state, how are we working, what are MLAs doing, what are the rules and what is the role of an MLA, what is the role of an MP. This happened at least, once in 4-5 days exercise, then in the journalism that we used to see a decade ago or 2 decades ago. But it's not there. It doesn't exist now anymore. You call it is because of TV, you call it is because of social media, or you call it way back then it was only print. I come from a TV journalism. I know what a TV journalism can do. I know today what a social media can do. It can actually rip a politician apart if the politician is not delivering his or her duties properly to the people of this country and the state or to your constituency. But what are people doing today in the name of journalism? We just want to take bites, we just want to take reactions, or you just want to create a political sensational news, and this is what you call it as news? I don't know, I'm sorry. I feel today journalism needs to get into that standards which was where the legacy was left behind of very great stalwarts who had shown to the people of this country and to the world that what journalism can do, how it can change people's life, how can it change policies, how can it change elections, how can it turn around a political party from nowhere to somewhere or from somewhere to zero. So if a journalist today forget the power that he has in his hand with a mic or a pen, then there's no use of journalism. And I feel today it's more of a bite journalism. It's more of an action to reaction, and it's more of trying to create no news out of nonsense or create nonsense out of some news that is existing.
What is journalism according to you?
According to me, see, the day I don't tell that everyone should follow the way I did my journalism. Everyone has their own path. Everyone has their own trajectory. Everyone has their own space that they can find for themselves. But, in my career, I can only talk about my career of journalism that I did. And that is what journalism meant to me. Journalism, when I reported, my first elections was Gujarat elections. When the whole media started telling that no, this time it's an election without Modi, but Congress is coming to power in Gujarat. But no, I said bang on, irrespective of whatever it is, people still haven't forgotten what Modi was as a chief minister to Gujarat, and BJP will come back to power with a very slight and thinnest margin. So that was 99 seats. That is what I predicted. So if you are able to understand the pulse of the people and give a clear and correct picture to the people, so that is what journalism to me is. And there was a time when two women were stranded from Karnataka 20 years ago in Himachal Pradesh, and they were raped and they were thrown into in trains. And I don't even know that from where, a small village from Chamrajnagar, they happened to land in Katra. That is the last railway station that connects to the Himachal Pradesh. So, and since 20 years they've been there, and somewhere from out of my network, I get a call telling that there are a couple of people. There is an NGO person who goes there for some occasion on World Mental Health Day, and they happen to speak to all the patients there, and there are these two women who converse in a language that is which is not a Hindi and a North Indian language, and they understand that it's a South Indian language. And luckily I get a call asking that, do you know this language? And they happen to speak in Kannada. I was like, oh, she's from Karnataka and she's speaking Kannada. And when I got to know about this, we aired that news, and I initiated talks between the then Chief Minister of Karnataka, Mr. Kumaraswamy, and the then Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, Mr. Thakur. And then the women safely, of course, out of a lot of difficulty, it did not happen overnight. Of course, leaders tell that, yes, we will do it, but you need a constant follow-up. You need not just, showcasing on your on-screen. You need a lot of work that needs to happen behind the screen. Also, you need to go, you need to talk to them, you need to travel, you need to tell them that, their family wants them, and convince their family to actually accept these people. So that is when I felt that if I can, provide a home to this homeless who have lost home for 20 years. And I think this is one of those moments in my journalism. So I felt this is what journalism is. And, when I did my first interview with Siddaramaiah, then when he lost elections, and he very vocally spoke about, the injustice that he faced from JDS and Mr. Devegowda. It was his words. And as soon as I finished that interview and I went to Delhi, in a week's time, I happened to meet former Prime Minister. And he was like, I saw your interview. Good. I also want to give you an interview that would counter his statements is what he meant. I was like, okay. That is when I felt, okay, this is what journalism is, because I did not had to favor either the Chief Minister then or either the former Prime Minister then. And I remember when 2018 Karnataka elections were in place, when Congress had lost those elections, and we were the first one to break JDS and Congress is coming together. And I feel that is, when the whole, I still remember even national media sitting there and praising about or trying to convince people of India that Yediയൂരപ്പ is going to take the oath and be the chief minister for next 5 years with horse trading or whatsoever it is. But from my political bureau, and I was the person to break that news. So I felt, okay, fine, when the whole news media was traveling in a different zone, I broke the news. I felt that is what journalism was then. So if I have to, and during my anchoring days, I came back to Bangalore and I happened to stay here during lockdown. I mean, there was no other option for me but to stay here. I could not go back or travel to Delhi. And I started hosting Namma Bahubali, which was a very popular show. news for many people or interviews for many people was, you make a person or a politician sit in front of you, bash them in front of the camera just for the sake of TRP or anything as such. But you don't try to respect that person, talk to them with a lot of sensitivity, and again extract the same information that you're supposed to extract, by creating all the hangamas and drama in front of the camera. So when, of course, initial days of Bahubali, people were like, what is this? Who is this girl? Why is she talking so slowly? Why is she wearing a sari and sitting in an interview? Why is there no suit? Why is there no a skirt in a TV channel? Why is there no formal dress? How can someone wear a dangling earrings, wear a bindi, wear a sari and sit in an interview and talk to politicians with such soft tone and in a biased manner? So I was like, of course, in initial days I was taken aback, but then when the way Karnataka received it later, the way the appreciation that I got it, and the way people, even today, actually, I see a lot of news anchors following that trend that I created then. So I feel that is journalism, because as I told you, I can mention only about my journalism career, and I feel, these are the sensitive part of journalism that a journalist needs to understand and keep it in mind. Yeah.
Do you miss journalism today?
I don't miss journalism. I feel I traveled 19 states during 2019 Lok Sabha elections. It was my dream that I wanted to travel across the country. I traveled, and I have covered almost all southern state elections, and also major elections of UP, Bihar, and all these state elections. And I have interviewed all the top leaders of this country and also the American president. And everyone, during my journalism days, of course, my journalism career was short-lived, but short-lived as in it was less than a decade. But everyone knew me by my name, and I was always welcomed with a red carpet whenever I went to meet any politician for an off-the-record conversation or an interview as such. But yes, definitely, I miss interviewing people, because I don't miss reporting, but I miss interviewing people. I so wish that there are a lot of hidden truth that people of this country needs to know from my interview skills with a lot of people of different arena in the society. I feel that that part is still wo thoda adhura reh gayi.
You spoke about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
What do you think about Donald Trump? And you're the first Karnataka woman journalist who got the opportunity to speak to Donald Trump. And what was the question you asked him?
Yeah, I was the only South Indian journalist to speak to Donald Trump when he was here in India.
What are your thoughts? Because right now we see
Yes, of course.
that now and
I don't think there was much of difference between what he spoke then and what he spoke now. Of course, relations with Modi and Trump would have been changed, and relations with how we handled or our international relations would have changed with the US. But I don't think Trump changed with his words or with the way how he tried to project himself as a politician. I very well remember that when he came to India, he was talking so many things about India. He was talking his love for India, Indian culture, Indian food, Indian people, and other things. But then I remember, and of course, so there were a lot of apprehensions that I was mentioning, because I have a lot of cousins based staying in states, and this was also in news. It's not that I got the information from them. Everyone was scared. People, especially Indians in America, did not want Trump to come back because people were not sure about, what would happen with their green card, what would happen with the visa, and what would happen. Many students were actually in apprehension that people did not know that they would get a work permit later after, during his second tenure, if he would have elected way back then. So my question to him was this: you express so much of love for India when you come here in the Indian soil, but you make Indians suffer in your own soil. And what is your stand with respect to the especially the visa that the new policy that you have brought in? Do you think coming here to India, do you want to change that policy and give it as a gift to Indians and also to Indians who live in US? And as usual, Trump will not answer to any of your questions directly. He said, "Oh my God, young lady, I love India." Of course, the answer is everywhere in the internet. I am sure Indians would love this answer. As soon as I go back, I've already given an assurance to the people of my country there in my soil, and I have never discriminated between fellow Indians in India and fellow Indians in America. They're all my people, and I appreciate India. I appreciate Indian food. I appreciate Indian culture. And he never gave an answer that what he would do. And of course, he subsequently lost the elections. That's a different story. That's a history. But today I feel, we, or rather BJP missed the beat with Trump is because how can a political party or how can an existing government in the country can get into the affairs of the other country's elections, the other country's political affairs? It's none of our business. Likewise, it's none of any country's business to get into Indian soil and Indian politics as well. So today, if we actually look at whatever has happened to India during the Operation Sindoor or our attack on Pakistan, it is very much, deserved for this government is because this is what they had actually created. Again, to bring back Madam Gandhi, I'm sure the country will not forget how Indira Gandhi handled that situation where Pakistan was not this weak way back then. We have to accept that fact. Where our relations with Soviet Union did go well, but apart from that, we had no good relation with any other countries in Asia or outside. And Middle East was not a question of being a friend to India at all, irrespective of being the highest importers of oil or whatsoever it is. And despite all the external pressure, she single-handedly, of course with the support of cabinet and the fellow Indians, she single-handedly stood against United Nations of America, irrespective of whatever threatens and the sanctions that America tried to impose on India. But today, just because Trump says that we are going to take away trade from India and you take back Operation Sindoor, Trump is mazak uda rahe Trump on India and on Indian Prime Minister. He comes out in an open press meet and he says, "Arey, maine band karwaya." This is the local slang that we talk in India, no? "Arey, maine isko band karwaya. Ye jo chota mota ladai chal rahi thi na, maine isko band karwaya." So he comes out and he says that, I ensured that there exists a peace between India and Pakistan. I told India to retard. I told India to stop the war. So what about those people जिनके नाम पे आपने सिंदूर लगा के ऑपरेशन सिंदूर किया? What about the Indian army who actually went with full force to get Pakistan on the knees and to take back POK? Of course, taking back POK, what are the consequences later, how we would handle all those things. It's all a different story at the end of the day. But did we even at least come to talking terms? So after we announced the ceasefire, soon after that, 10 to 12 days or a week later, there was supposed to be a bilateral talks between India and Pakistan. What happened to that? Did the talks happen? Where is the news about Operation Sindoor? What is happening in the border today? Just because we don't have an access to the news, just because we don't get news what's happening there, that doesn't mean that there is nothing that is happening. That doesn't mean that there is no disturbance in Kashmir. That doesn't mean that everything is all right today. Just because you have kept people of this country away from the information, it will not, give you the liberty to tell that Operation Sindoor was a success. I appreciate Indian Army. I appreciate their effort. But how they would have been taken aback then we listened to Trump and we announced ceasefire. Even before we announced ceasefire, Trump tweets telling that I have asked India to stay back, to move back. How ashamed are we? How shameful is that on any Indian government? I'm not talking about who the government is, who the Prime Minister is. This is a disastrous movement for every fellow Indian in this country, that today we are facing this embarrassment movement because of those wrongdoings that we did in 2018, 19, 20. We went into their soil. We campaigned for Trump, telling that "Ab ki baar Trump Sarkar." Who are we to tell that? What business as an Indian government and as a Prime Minister has to go and do it there? Any Prime Minister for that matter. What was the decision that we decided post-independence? That we will not interfere in any other country's elections. But today, just to prove something to the world and prove something to the party and prove something to self, we go there, we campaign for Trump. And where is Trump today? Where is America today? Where is our support? Where are we landing? It's very unfortunate. And yeah, Trump remains Trump.
What do you think, is social media helping journalists or hurting journalists?
In social media, there is a journalist from every house. Everyone wants to report, everyone wants to talk about everything, everyone wants to, try and express their opinion. And I don't think that's wrong. It's a good thing, but to what extent is a question mark today. Social media, if I have to talk about the core journalism, today the Chief Minister tweets something about something and there is a counter tweet for it, and there is again a counter tweet for that from some other party, and there is a counter tweet from somebody in the National Party. I think you would have remembered this during 2018 elections. The whole of elections, between the tussle between center and state, the tussle between central BJP and state Congress, has happened over a Twitter
war.
It was just a Twitter war. People on Twitter wrote something. Prime Minister came and said it, ye 10% ka sarkar hai. Then Congress replied something to it. Then JDS replied something to it. So what is the job for journalists? Shut the door and go. I remember that for almost 2.5 months, it was just this exercise. Prime Minister came, spoke. Prime Minister tweeted this. This was the reaction from the Chief Minister. This was the reaction from the opposition leader. This was the reaction from their own party leader. So, I'm sure, please use social media platform for sharing your opinions, but not to create news. Because वहाँ पे आदान प्रदान तो नहीं होता है ना. वहाँ पे सिर्फ आदान है. You don't take anything. You just give. So, it's just one way of expressing your own things. And if we decide as a journalist to not report to any of the social media posts or the Twitter posts, basically the Twitter posts. So other social media posts, I don't think people have still taken it seriously. But especially the X post today, then I think the real journalism can actually come back. If not, there would come a day where, I'm telling today, sitting here, of course, as a politician, there would come a day where I don't have to call journalists for a press meet. I express my opinions and other things on a video. And I share my writings on social media, and I'll tell the TV and print to cover it. So where is the job for journalists, and where is the job for an interaction? Where is the job for a conversation? So I don't feel social media is doing any good to the core journalism. But of course, yes, with respect to the pace, with respect to the reach, social media is definitely a boon for today's journalism and journalist students as well, if they have to utilize it well and give a pure and proper journalism. See, today also we are sitting and talking today and trying to deliver this interview to lakhs of people across the country and globe is through social media, no doubt about it. It's again about how do we actually use it rather than being a victim of it.
The Indian National Congress, it seems like it is not happy with the Indian media.
Why should it be happy? I don't know if you remember in 2024 elections, after the results, there were a few national media channels. They expressed their joy. I'm not talking see, today sitting here, I don't have any fear of talking about journalists who are biased towards parties and journalists who stand center, and there are journalists who are left oriented, who has a left coating for everything that they do in their journalism. But that day I categorically watched all the news channels on a big screen, keeping them in small screens. Top 2 news channels, express their joy of, oh, now we will have good things in parliament. Ab parliament mein dhamaka hoga. Now we will have an opportunity to show something to you people. If a journalist from an English channel, a reputed channel, a primetime anchor, a senior journalist sit in the newsroom after the election results and says that journalism abhi zinda hua hai. So then what does that mean? I don't mind if you have 430. I don't mind if you have 500 plus seats. Be it Congress, be it BJP, be it any party for that matter. Why should a journalist feel choked when there are seats above 400, when there are seats above 500? Opposition still exists. Other parties still exist. So was there a system or was there a situation that was created to the national media? This actually my fellow journalist has to answer. When they can sit in a newsroom and talk openly and express their joy for the 99 seats that Congress got, not because their love for Congress, but because they wanted a principal opposition in the parliament, and for BJP stooping down to 240 and not reaching the magical number, not because their hatred towards BJP, but the choking situation that BJP, in the name of handling media and in the name of information and broadcasting ministry and in the name of giving advertisements, that they had created. If this is the situation in this country, then this is nothing less than an intolerance situation and an undeclared emergency. So then I'm sure then why shouldn't Congress be upset about national media when the national media journalists are only upset about the situation that they are in today?
But how do you see some of the journalists, some of the journalists behave like the official party spokespersons? How do you see as a journalist? Because you've been a journalist, now you're into politics. It's your job. You guys are authorized to be an official spokesperson. But today journalists are behaving like, as an official spokesperson of a particular political parties.
I feel very unfortunate about it. I'll tell you. मैं वादे के साथ कह सकती हूँ. When I was a journalist, despite working in student organization that affiliated to a party and then getting into a program that affiliated to another party. If I would have been biased in one or the other moment, I was stopped by the politicians then because they don't like it. And today, if any journalist who is, be it a Congress sympathizer or a BJP sympathizer, talks to me very nicely and, tries to give me false hopes about something that is not real today or not true today, I don't bag it. And it's not media's job to set agenda. It's politicians' job. Let us do our job. Let us earn our bread. Let us earn our seats. Let us earn what our political parties need. And you journalists, please don't think in the name of, or probably somebody seeing me today, or somebody who have seen, journalists in the past. If you think that I came today here favoring any of the Congress leaders or favoring the Congress party, no, please take it away from your mind. Definitely not. I am here today out of my will, my wish, out of my hard work and out of my passion towards politics and the recognition that the political leaders identified in me. So if you think sitting in a channel and being a spokesperson for a party tomorrow would lead you to an MLA ticket, that would lead you to an MP ticket, definitely not. I think you are living in an illusion. Please stop it and please don't do any injustice to the viewers who are watching you. Of course, I understand there was a time where people wouldn't have understood that what is happening in this country or how there was an agenda that was being set. But I think 10 years down the line, people know it. People know where media is heading. People know who is talking about whom, who is biased about whom. And in a TV debate, you sit and talk as a additional spokesperson to a party. I think you're just killing yourself and the journalist again.
What role should the government play in terms of busting the fake news?
See, it cannot happen. Being a part of the government, I very clearly tell you. Because every day, I wake up and I see into WhatsApp groups. Forget about the party groups that I see or the political and a few media groups that I see. I'm talking about the groups that I am part of apart from my professional life, my personal life, my family group. Out of the 10 messages that I receive, 7 to 8 messages would be fake messages. And be it in my friends group, out of some 6 to 7 messages that I receive, at least 2 to 3 will be fake news. And where will you stop this? This has become a factory or this is just like a plastic. It is everywhere. People don't know how to use it or people don't know how to burst it. People don't know what to do with it. And there is no extent for it also. So I think, but at the same time, today cybersecurity has become, one of the major departments in, at least in Karnataka government. I don't have to vouch for any other governments. But here in Karnataka government, we have, there's been a constant monitoring on these fake news as such. Fake news, I'm not talking just about, political fake news, but there are a lot of fake news that would actually derail a person from in the society. So with that respect, there has been a lot of actions that has been taken from the police, a lot of complaints that would be lodged, and people who are creating there are fake news that you just forward. There are fake news that are intentionally created. So those intentional fake news creators are being jailed or are being behind or facing a lot of heavy penalties.
How do you see this Karnataka government, your own government, has planned like strict stringent action? Like, if you spread a fake news, you have a jail for 7 years and 10 lakh rupees fine. How do you see this as a journalist? Is it a good move? Not as a politician. I want to reply as a journalist. Do you think it's a good move? As you mentioned, fake news cannot be stopped.
See, as I told you very clearly, fake news cannot be stopped. But if you're a creator of a fake news, then I think you deserve it. a jail for 7 years and a penalty of 10 lakhs. If I forward a fake news today to you, thinking that this is real, you would forward it to another 100 people.
Okay.
But if I know this fake news is coming from that person who has created it, and if even the government gets to know that the source of this fake news is from here, and there is a clear-cut agenda behind this fake news, then why not? When will actually people start fearing about this? So this is nothing but a crime. As there is a criminal action against every crime that we do in this country, so this is also a criminal offense. So this also should be brought under the criminal law in the future days. And actually, I think Supreme Court has to take it up under the IPC and pass stringent laws against fake news. I know today judges sit and talk a lot about fake news and the problem that it is creating in this country. But I also feel that there needs to be a strong and stringent policies that is coming against fake news in this country. And if the government is able to target the right source or right to the source, I think this fake news this can actually get stopped. But I don't think the days are too far. But again, it depends on today. As we all know about the grey area in the internet and grey web and black web and other things. I'm sure it would be a bit difficult to find the source, but once we find the source, then there is nothing wrong in giving a criminal, putting it under a criminal offense and sending to the jail, or levying a heavy penalty of 10 lakh rupees or so.
What do you think? Can a journalist be an activist?
I feel every journalist is an activist.
How?
If you're not an activist, you wouldn't be a journalist. But later you would kill your activism in getting into a journalism. Is a different story.
No.
Many people would have killed it, I don't know. Or people would have kept it alive. I don't know about it. It's up to their individualistic frame of mind that they work with. See, I tell you.
But role of a journalist just to report the incident, not to be part of the protest or anything like that, right? If there's a protest in Freedom Park, why do I be part of it? Activists do that.
My editor, the then editor, Dinesh Akula, he had worked in international media as well, in their soil. So he told me once, why people love journalism in India is because there is a lot of action in it. If you become a journalist for an international channel or a news network in their soil, you're just a journalist. It's just a 9-to-5 job for you. And you don't even get to report something bigger things that is happening unless and until you're an accredited White House journalist or you're an accredited government journalist. You get to travel with the Prime Minister or the presidents of this country, and you come back and report. Apart from that, there is nothing very fascinating about journalism there with the international media in their soil. Of course, there are few news networks and primetime anchors on international platform where they have created those space for themselves. But apart from that, how we see the bhag daud that happens in Indian journalism, it doesn't exist anywhere else outside Asia, basically. So here in India, I don't think you can follow that journalism of 9-to-5 job where you're here. And I don't tell it's wrong being an activist. If you're seeing something wrong is happening with someone, you forget, you throw your cameras, you throw your mic, you go and save that person. You just don't stand there and
That's not activism. I was
No, I'm trying to relate a few things. That's it. I know it's not an activism. But there is a thin line between being a journalist, and you must know where your activism ends, or many people would not know where it would begin. It can begin at any point of time, under any situation, but you must know where it should end, because every activism in this country will take a political turn. So if you know how to stop it when it takes a political turn, you remain a journalist who has an activist alive in you. If you're not able to, draw a line, then again you become a politician who sets agenda on news prime time shows and try to create biased opinions.
If given a chance, will you go back to journalism, and how would your style of reporting be in the present situation?
Of course, I would not go back to journalism, but you know what?
There's no future, do you think?
No, definitely not. Today, I'm a spokesperson of a political party.
Yes.
I am biased towards my leaders. I am biased towards my party. I have an emotional connect with the people of course, with the people that I belong to in the party, and to the people of this country. That emotional connect was definitely there even during my journalism days. But if I go back to journalism as a correspondent, I don't think I'll be able to do justice to journalism as how I used to do it then. Because once a journalist can always be a journalist, irrespective of whatever roles he or she plays in their life. But once a politician can never get away from politics. So I don't think I'll be able to do justice going back to journalism. I'll not be able to talk against my party going back to journalism. And I don't think I have to even do it, because when I have come to when I have quit journalism, I've come to politics, I've asked for a ticket, or I have stood for a party, I've stood for their ideology, and I've stood for their beliefs, and trying to impart those beliefs through my words and my vision to the people of this country. I don't think it's fair on my part to even get back to journalism. It's not that I can't make a career out of it, but definitely I would, in the future days, open a media house where I can...
Control.
No, it's not that I control. Where I, give the opportunity for the people to... I mean, there already exists a media house under my name and organization. So I don't want to control my news organization, because being a journalist myself, I don't want to create that choking situation for the media house that probably I would be supporting financially or whatsoever it is, or under my nose. But definitely I have this vision that, South India lacks prominence in national media and national politics. And I very much feel that there needs a voice of Southern India, Southern culture, Southern soil in Delhi. And yes, my goal and ambition is towards creating that citizen forum at a national media, but definitely not, get into a space again where I would become another central government today. No.
So what's your message for the upcoming journalists who want to think journalism as their career and who wants to have a professional, build a profession in them?
Listen to your heart. Because in journalism, the most important part is, if you're able to work for your conscience, then there is nothing like it. You don't have to be left, you don't have to be right, you don't have to be rich, you don't have to be poor, you don't have to be biased towards any caste, any creed, or any religion for that matter. If you're able to just deliver news as news, that is the biggest justice you're going to do it to the journalism world. And tomorrow's world actually needs real journalists, because today, myself being a young politician, a journalist turned politician, if I look myself in the future of 10 to 20 years ahead, or 3 decades ahead, I will be actually wondering that who are the journalists I will be working in the future, because politics is not going to die in this country, journalism is not going to die in this country, and media is not going to die in this country. There would be different forms of media that would be watching in the future, but journalism and this whole journalists and politics relationship remains intact in this country. So please create an environment where you don't become slaves to the politicians, but you stay in a zone where we respect you and you respect us. So this is my message to them.
So well, Swathi Chandrashekar, thank you very much for talking to Delhi
you.
and giving us precious time.
Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you. And I had never spoken about, my journalism days in this depth with anyone. And thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. All the very best for your future.
Thanks so much. Namaste.